Good day, everybody. I'm Jason, your Feng Shui consultant. Today, we explore the two most iconic mystical creatures in Chinese culture, the Pixiu and the Qilin. Many people see these as lucky Feng Shui symbols, but very few truly understand their deeper meanings, origin, and proper application. Although both are auspicious creatures, they represent very different energy. Pixiu is commonly associated with wealth attraction, wealth retention, and strong financial energy. Qilin, on the other hand, symbolizes harmony, nobility, protection, leadership, peace, and the righteous authority. So in this presentation, we will cover their legends and origin, their symbolic meanings, their feng shui uses, traditional beliefs, their differences, and how modern feng shui practitioners view them today. Chinese culture is rich with symbolic creatures that represent different aspects of life and destiny. Among them, Pixiu and Qilin are the most respected and widely used mystical beasts. However, many people simply misunderstand them by assuming both are simply wealth creatures. In reality, Pixiu focus more on wealth, protection, harmony. Qilin focuses on peace, stability, virtue, and noble support. You can think of them this way. Pixiu is like a guardian that helps gather and protects wealth. Qilin is a wise and noble protector that brings harmony and righteous energy. Understanding these differences is important for using them in feng shui or symbolic practices. So what is Pixiu? Pixiu is a powerful mystical beast that deeply connected to wealth protection in Chinese tradition. According to legend, Pixiu is one of the son of the Dragon King, Long Wang. Its appearance, dragon head, strong body, wings. This combination actually symbolize strength, authority, speed, and supernatural protection. Pixiu is considered a strong yang creature with very active energy. That is why it is often associated with wealth, expansion, investment, sales, financial movement. In modern times, Pixiu remains extremely popular among the entrepreneurial salespeople or even business owners. The legend of the Pixiu. One of the most famous legends is that Pixiu loved consuming gold, silver, and even treasures. However, Pixiu was punished by the Jade Emperor. The punishment was unique because Pixiu could absorb wealth but could never release it once consumed. This is why the phrase comes from if the Pixiu absorbs the wealth from all directions and never lets it escape. Because of this belief, Pixiu became a symbol of wealth attraction, wealth retention, preventing financial leakage, protecting prosperity. This symbol became popular especially among merchants and wealthy families throughout the Chinese history. Pixiu symbolism. Pixiu represents more than just money. It symbolizes active wealth energy. Traditionally, Pixiu is used for business opportunity, customer flow, investment, sales commission, windfall luck. It also symbolizes harmony and protection. Historically, Pixiu was used for a guardian beast, a military symbol, palace protector, a tomb guardian. Its energy is considered strong. Some feng shui practitioners use Pixiu as a warrior wealth energy. This makes it attractive for ambitious individuals who are focused on growth and financial success. Users of Pixiu. Pixiu is commonly used in feng shui display and also personal accessories. Many people place in home and offices in wealth sector, cashier counters. A traditional belief is that Pixiu should face outwards. Why? Because this symbol that they go out to gather wealth and bring it back home or your offices. Pixiu is also commonly found in bracelet, pendant, jade carving, gold jewelries. Modern users often combine Pixiu with butter analysis, by element theory, even crystal energy practices. Pixiu traditional beliefs. There are many traditional beliefs and customs surrounding Pixiu. Different schools and different practitioners may have different interpretation. Some common folk beliefs include avoid touching the Pixiu's mouth as it symbolizes taking away the wealth. Touching the back symbolizes the wealth retention. Avoid placing Pixiu near toilets. Avoid placing them near facing mirrors. Some people even avoid wearing Pixiu when sleeping. So it is important to understand that many of these are the traditional customaries rather than the universe rules. Professional feng shui practice varies depending on linkage and methodology. Now let us move to Qilin. Qilin is one of the most secret creatures in Chinese culture. Unlike Pixiu, everything revolves along wealth. But Qilin represents actually benevolent wisdom, peace, and noble authority. Qilin is also considered one of the creatures alongside with the dragon, the phoenix, the dragon tortoise, and the white tiger. Ancient Chinese believed that the appearance of Qilin was an extremely auspicious sign. It symbolized peace times, leadership, the arrival of a wise sage. This gives Qilin a much more refined and noble symbolism compared to Pixiu. Legend of Qilin. One famous legend says that Qilin appeared before the birth of Confucius, because Confucius later became one of the greatest philosophers in Chinese history. Qilin became associated with wisdom, virtue, and great leadership. Qilin symbolism. Qilin represents peace, nobleman luck, authority and leadership, business protection, stability, and righteousness. So in Feng Shui, Qilin is commonly associated with neutralizing negative energy, supporting the leadership, enhancing the reputation, and bring benefactors into your business, your life. So historically, Qilin was connected to scholars, officials, leaders, and even royal courts. This is why Qilin is often viewed as a symbol of dignified success rather than aggressive wealth symbol pursuit. Uses of Qilin. Qilin is commonly used for protection and stabilization. So people may place Qilin near entrances, in offices, in areas with difficult energy. It is believed to help reduce hostility or even destructive influences. Qilin is also popular among executive, leaders, professionals, officers that seek harmony. Pixiu versus Qilin. Pixiu focuses more on wealth and also in harmony. Seems like it appears more suitable for family. Qilin, on the other hand, more noble, more stability, more protection, good for business expansion. Simply put it, Pixiu is good for house. Qilin helps you stabilize and protect what you build in your business. Modern feng shui perspective. So modern professional feng shui does not rely on symbolic objects. So a Pixiu or Qilin use alone cannot completely form someone's destiny. Real feng shui actually involves looking at the landform, measuring the directions, then we look at the time cycles, the flying stars, and also your Earth's compatibility, and also your surrounding as well. And even space planning, how do you put your table, your bed against the door, and how do you tap your environment energy. So mystic creatures are better understood as symbolic enhancers rather than magical shortcuts. Their purpose is to actually support the intention, the atmosphere, and the symbolic alignment. Important considerations. An important point that many people overlook: not every symbolic object suits every person equally. For example, someone with already intense excessive fire energy in their bazi may become more impulsive if they constantly surround themselves with aggressive energy. This is why feng shui recommendations consider personality, environment, purpose, bazi structure, and even your lifestyle. So true feng shui is about balance, not blindly copying trends. So to conclude, Pixiu represents wealth attraction, harmony at home, strong, active young energy. Qilin represents noble support, harmony, stability, good for business, righteous leadership. Both are powerful cultural symbols with deep historical roots. But matured feng shui is not only about becoming rich, it's about building prosperity that is stable, sustainable, and protected over time. So before we end this podcast, I would like to address a question that many Christians have. Is it acceptable for Christians to use or display Pixiu and Qilin? This is a very sensitive topic because different Christians hold different views regarding cultural symbols and spiritual practice. So from a cultural perspective, Pixiu and Qilin can be understood as a traditional Chinese symbol represents ideals such as prosperity, protection, peace, virtue, and even harmony. So in this context, some Christians may see similar to cultural art, historical mythology, traditional symbolism, rather than objects of worship. However, from a stricter Christian theological perspective, some believers may feel uncomfortable if these objects are treated as spiritual powers, divine protectors, magical objects, objects capable of changing destiny independently of God. So Christian teachings generally emphasize that protection comes from God, blessing comes from God, wisdom and provision ultimately come from faith, stewardship, and righteous living, rather than objects themselves. So because of this, many Christian practitioners who appreciate Chinese culture may choose to approach this creature as cultural heritage, artistically symbolism, historical mythology, instead of treating them as supernatural entities with independent power. This creates a balanced middle ground where culture and faith can coexist respectfully. In modern feng shui discussion, some Christian practitioners also reinterpret feng shui more as environmental psychology, spatial harmony, human behavior, and atmosphere, symbolic design principles rather than spiritual worship. Ultimately, the key question becomes: am I treating this as a culture and symbolism, or am I depending on it spiritually? That distinction is very important for many Christians. So, here I conclude today's podcast. Thank you for hearing. If you have any question, feel free to comment. Stay tuned for my next topic. Thank you.